What is going on, world? What's up, YouTube? It's Zero here. Today I'm bringing you guys a brand new Gears of War video, so let's get into it. So guys, in today's video, we're going to be talking about some of the comments that DrDisrespect made on one of his live streams and kind of break it down for all of you and give you some of the reasons as to why I think DrDisrespect is wrong about Gears of War. So let's talk about it. So guys, I'm going to be reading snippets of an article that was written by Brad Norton on Dexterto talking about DrDisrespect, explaining why it's time for Gears of War to be dead. So guys, before we even get into this video, I want to just quickly say that DrDisrespect is an incredible streamer, an incredible personality within the gaming community, and I have nothing but respect for his work ethic. I believe that he does the best show on Twitch, and it's not even close. And he is just an incredible entertainer in the space. And that being said, though, I do disagree on a couple of different levels of what he said in his live stream about Gears of War. And just for full disclosure, guys, obviously I make content around Gears of War on my YouTube channel. I also make content around Call of Duty as well as StarCraft. So I am biased towards Gears because I do love the Gears franchise. But I'm going to go into this from both angles and just try to explain what I think to be completely false in a couple of areas of what DrDisrespect said about Gears 5 and just Gears of War in general. So in the article, exuberant Twitch personality DrDisrespect has fired shots at Xbox Game Studios over their brand new Gears of War 5 title, calling for the series to be dead. With experience on the development side of the video game industry, having previously worked as a level designer at Sledgehammer Games, DrDisrespect is never one to shy away from voicing his opinion. From mocking Fortnite to raging about certain video game mechanics, you can always expect some heated discussions in the stream. It's time for the series to be dead. Let's move on from Gears of War. Doc stated it's just a whole bunch of over-the-top AAA marketing and PR on top of this game. That's all it is. Based on early reviews, Gears 5 currently sits at 86% on Metacritic, and yet Doc was quick to express his frustration with the series, adding that others in the industry have been too scared to share their opinion. I'm looking at gameplay and I am not impressed. I'll say it, okay? I'll be the one to step out since no one else is saying it on social media. Gears of War 5, don't waste my time. It looks bland, it looks boring, it's the exact same thing over and over. Offering a suggestion for Xbox Game Studios and developers at the Coalition, Doc believes it's time to reset. Let's start a new brand, new company. I know all the developers working at that studio want to move on to something unique. The franchise has been a staple of the Xbox brand since the first Gears title was released in 2006, with the 2019 installment being their first major release in 3 years. So guys, I want to break down a few things here. Number one, DrDisrespect is stating that he thinks that the series needs to be dead, right? And he's saying that we need to be moving on from Gears of War. My question is why? And we'll get to here shortly as to, you know, why he thinks that the series needs to be dead. I gotta say, guys, that I don't really see why Gears of War should be dead because it's such a staple, as the article has stated, for Xbox, but it's also... The fact of the matter is that Gears has a massive fan base, it sells very well, and it's not a game that comes out every single year. It's a game that comes out every 3 years, and they consistently put more content into the game that people like myself who are fans of the franchise can enjoy. I can understand if DrDisrespect stated something along the lines of, the servers for Gears 5 are not good, they're complete shit. I would understand that because it's true. They aren't very good. The servers right now at launch have not been that great, and they've been unstable to say the least at launch of Gears 5. That's something that I could kind of get behind for Doc, but he's not saying something like that. He's saying it's a bunch of over-the-top AAA marketing, which, okay, there's AAA marketing, obviously, but that's with any game. You're going to have AAA marketing because you want to sell the game, obviously. You want to get it out there. It's one of your flagship series. I'm pretty sure every game that is a AAA title is going to have a lot of marketing on top of the game. That's just how it is. And if you're talking about marketing in the standpoint of having personalities in the gaming community, well, sure, lots of games do that. And Doc has been one of those personalities for numerous games that he's shown off or has been paid to play to show off to the world. Okay, so Doc says, I'm looking at gameplay and I'm not impressed. Okay, I got that. Like, if you're not impressed by the gameplay, that's fine. I feel, though, a little bit of some hate in here. Like, I don't know Doc, obviously, guys, and I'm not sure if the Doc has something against the studio, if he has something against Xbox, or if he has something against Gears in general. But saying that it's not impressive, it's like, okay, that's fine that it's not impressive to you, but it's one of the best looking games ever made on Xbox, and I would love to see there be some pushback on that, because it is one of the best looking titles on Xbox, and there's no debate about it. I mean, you look at it in 4K, it is a beautiful looking game. So as far as the graphics are amazing, gameplay, sure, maybe it's not for everybody, and that's completely fine. That's totally up to you as far as your opinion's concerned, and I will give the Doc that without a doubt. If he doesn't think the gameplay looks okay, you're completely entitled to your opinion. The big one to me, though, guys, is two things. One is that he says it looks bland, it looks boring, it's the exact same thing over and over. I want to really emphasize that last part. It's the exact same thing over and over. Okay, Doc, it's the same thing over and over, so remind me, what exactly is Call of Duty? So I'm a big Call of Duty fan, and it's one, I always say, guys, the big three in gaming, and this is just my opinion, is StarCraft, Call of Duty, and Gears of War. They're the big three. I just enjoy all three of those games, and I've said this on numerous occasions, and that's why I create content around those three games. So I love all three of those games. My question, though, is Call of Duty is the exact same thing pretty much over and over again with little differences along the way. They're pretty minimal. You had the biggest difference in Call of Duty was when they went from boots on the ground to jetpacks, which turned into a Halo meets Titanfall title, and you had that 3 years in a row, which was basically the exact same thing, just a little bit of some differences in graphics and such, and then you go back to the boots on the ground. Call of Duty, to be fair, is a game that comes out every single year, and I love COD, but it's basically the exact same thing over and over. Gears of War, sure, it has the same types of gameplay, but let's kind of look a little deeper here. With Gears 5, we had the biggest launch all time with Gears of War, not in the standpoint of sales, which I'm not sure about the sales, but from a standpoint of the most amount of content in a Gears of War title ever. So we are talking not only a semi-open world campaign, which has never happened in Gears of War, which changes it, which makes it not the same thing as the other Gears of War titles. Semi-open world on top of a multiplayer that is growing and growing. So you have a multiplayer, which sure, you can say that it was somewhat the same, but they changed a lot of things as well in the multiplayer. And then on top of that, they added new modes, that being the escape mode, which you can play with some of your friends if you'd like. So escape mode is escaping from the hive, and it just adds more to the game in a way in which you can connect with the game, whether you like playing the campaign, whether you like playing the multiplayer, or the hive mode known as escape. And then of course on top of all that, there's an arcade mode. So there's a multiple layers to Gears 5. To say that it's the same thing over and over, I'm not sure what you're saying as far as, in comparison to other games, I can look at a game that I play on a regular basis being Call of Duty, and it's basically the same thing every single year. There's little changes. Now, Modern Warfare, are they going away from that formula? It looks like they very well might be, but we have to wait and see with that game. I just find it hypocritical to say that it's the exact same thing over and over, yet you play Call of Duty. Many people would agree with me that love Call of Duty would say that it's essentially a copy and paste every single year, and Gears of War comes out every 3 years. So I just don't think that it's fair to say that it's the same thing over and over. On top of that, you have Gears Pop, which is of course is a mobile game for Gears of War, and Gears Tactics has not even released yet, which is going to be a strategy-based game mode coming to PC. So I just think that what the Coalition has done is incredible. They are creating a community around different types of modes, so many different ways to connect with the Gears of War franchise, building upon the lore and the story, in which, by the way, Call of Duty Black Ops 4 did not do, which was my biggest criticism of Black Ops 4 having no campaign. They did not continue the Black Ops story, which is so good historically. Obviously, they're going back to it with Modern Warfare, which of course has a little bit historically better story than that of Black Ops, but Black Ops is still one of the best stories as far as I'm concerned in any game I've played, and they took that away completely in Black Ops 4 and replaced it with Blackout, which I thought was a great game mode, but I still would have loved to have the full package, which would also have included a campaign. Well, guess what? We got the full package. It's in the form of Gears 5. As far as those who love the Gears franchise, you got a full package, and there's no doubt about it. The last thing, guys, that DrDisrespect said that did bother me was that let's start a brand new company. I know all the developers working at that studio want to move on to something unique. I would love to see proof of this, because what I'm seeing is that they're a studio that is in absolute and utter love with the Gears franchise. They are building upon the franchise, building upon the lore of Gears of War in so many ways. It's not just a story mode or a multiplayer or other co-op modes or having a mobile game or having new novels or having a movie being made. There are so many different things happening with Gears of War. I just completely disagree with this notion that they want to work on something unique. Maybe down the road, but I think that they're going to continue making Gears of War titles, at least for the foreseeable future, because we as a community love them, number one. And number two is they're making them unique to their own specific titles. There's new things in each of the Gears of War games as they go, which gets back to that it's not the same thing over and over again. Sure, the gameplay, the core mechanics are basically the same throughout the Gears of War franchise, but don't you want that if you're playing a franchise that you love? You don't want it to go completely away. What happened to Call of Duty when they did do that? They got so much backlash in the form of Advanced Warfare, Black Ops 3, and Infinite Warfare because it went away from what made Call of Duty great, which was boots on the ground, gritty tone, and just intense matches on small and medium-sized maps, which made it extremely exciting in Call of Duty. And then they changed it to wall running and having jetpacks and such, which completely changed everything about Call of Duty and what Call of Duty was built on. So I'm only bringing up Call of Duty, guys, because DrDisrespect loves Call of Duty and is one of the games that he plays on a normal basis. And like I said, guys, this is no hate to DrDisrespect because I think that he has the best show on Twitch. I think he does an incredible job. I just disagree on a couple of these fronts, and I feel that if he would have had feedback similar to that of, hey, I just don't like the gameplay, which he said, and I totally give him that, but also if he would have stated that the game was in a bad place because of the servers on multiplayer or because of the campaign, then okay, I would totally be on board with that because I agree that it's been a shaky launch because of the servers and such with Gears 5, but to state that the developers want to work on something unique and that it's the same thing over and over again and that it's just time for the series to be dead, I could see if Gears of War came out every single year and it was a game that just wasn't changing very much whatsoever and the player base just kept on shrinking, but we're getting a new game every 3 years and the player base is growing. Esports scene in Gears is growing. So I just don't really understand some of the points that Doc made. However, everyone is entitled to their opinion, guys, and I would love to hear your guys' opinion about this. Do you guys agree with DrDisrespect that Gears of War should just be dead and that it's the same thing over and over again and that the developers really just want to work on something else that's unique, like a different IP? Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Subscribe if you're new, stay positive, and as always, I'll talk to you guys all in the next one. Peace.